Hey guys, this is just a quick one. I'm just going to play some footage in the background. It is a Delve Depth 1366 Architect, just while I'm talking about this. Yeah, gonna probably just be a quick one as I just go over the upgrades that I just got, or the upgrade that I just got, and what I've changed. Closing in on our goal now of 1500 depth. So we're about 130 depth to go. So this is likely the penultimate upgrade, I suppose, in the series. Like penultimate video, probably the next one's going to be the last, as we hit 1500 and then just go over what we've done to achieve that and the items that we have. Delve's definitely been way more lucrative past the 1k point. I think it scales up to 1500. That's why we have that as the goal. If not, it's a fairly okay point for me to stop. I think I'm not really chasing like giga depth like Steve or or anything like that. Like 1500's a nice humble point to stop, I think. And then after that, we'll probably look at liquidating the build honestly and putting it into some new toys for standard or something like that. Maybe later in the season, before the next league, I'll look at doing another like run, quote unquote, I suppose, with another character, like a start to finish, and then you can see how I've built the character um, from the get go. So I guess if there's any suggestions for a character I could do start to finish, it would be good to struck it in the comments. Right, let's tab back in and just talk about what we've changed. So the only real upgrade since the last vid is Progenesis, and so I grabbed this Progenesis for 101 div. It was unidentified. We thought, okay, let's just buy an unidentified one, identify it, and hit okay rolls, to be fair. So this was 101 divine. Um, we swapped flasks. So we swapped from oh, why can't I think of what it's called? The one from Shaper that gives extra projectiles. Dying Sun. We swapped from Dying Sun into a magic ruby uh, ruby flask of the owl, reduced effect. Gain free charges when you're hit by an enemy. That gave us way higher uptime, so we're now covered a lot better for elemental resists on these nodes, and on bosses too, a little bit when they're up. In case the boss has got any like extra elemental damage, that really helps. We also swapped into a basalt flask with increased armor on. I think this might be a little bit much. I'm not sure I really need the basalt flask, but I couldn't really think of what else to do with this slot, to be honest with you. Seen a couple of different options on the PoE Ninja ladder, but we settled on basalt flask. And we dropped our amethyst flask because we picked up the Progenesis, and they're both amethyst flask base, so don't want to have two chaos resist flasks because they don't stack. And then we got rid of Sin's Rebirth because we're not socket starved. We've actually still got this empty socket that we could look at putting something into, but couldn't really think of what to put in there, to be honest with you. I'm sure there's a decent option, but just couldn't think of one. So just left it. Don't really don't really need to fill it, so didn't bother. Because we're using Despair as our full-time source of Withered now, with the balance of Terror. Let's see if I can get it first tries here. Yeah, the balance of Terror jewel down there. Yeah, build has really shaped up, to be honest with you. Yeah, I fully believe Connor when he says this is probably the best endgame build, best well-rounded build, got the most scaling options out of like pretty much most builds, I would say. Um, it's been a lot of fun to do it start to finish. To be honest with you, I'm just going to go over my sheet that's tracking everything. As you can see here, this is all of our gear that we've brought post Molten Striker to Zenith swap. This is the total cost. Might hit 100,000 chaos by the time we call it, probably tomorrow. But we're about 800 div into the build so far. and if you want to go check like how much I paid for stuff and what it like corresponded to on the day, you can just match the day of the POB. Probably after these, I might just segment it and like have a delve section if that makes sense. But um, you can correspond like, okay, all this was day 3, so I brought this on day 3, and this was my day 3 POB. So you can just open this POB here, right? You can just open this here like this. Pollen's been kind of buggy this league, unfortunately. Um, and then you can like cross-reference. Oh, this is the gear in this POB, and then in the next one, this is the gear in like day 4, right? So that's like the price tracker. This is just like the Warden stuff that I was playing with. Ended up being just a little detour, little side project, and yeah, that's the price tracker. Just running through that for anyone who was interested in looking at that. I think one of the last upgrades for the build is we coincidentally are now back in 2 Warlord items, um, which is the Simplex and the Enfal pick ring. However, I can't really decide what to drop for the Bound by Destiny again, the 15% strength Bound by Destiny. It might be this rare jewel and then buy a Corrupted Blood natural affinity and come out of here and go into reduced effective withered and just do the swap like both of these at once. I think everything else is like kind of irreplaceable. This cluster's very nice for the chaos res and the strength. Obviously need Valakos, obviously need the Watcher's Eye with life gain on hit chaos res, need the Foulborn Red Dream, is very efficient. Need the Lethal Pride, need the Balance of Terror, need the split personalities. So can't really decide what to drop for the Bound by Destiny, but yeah, maybe it's like drop some life or something and go for another dual socket up here. But it's I don't think it's worth it, to be honest with you. It might work out to be like a little net gain because of the 15% strength, but anyway, I haven't really thought about it. Might not do it because it might not be needed. But plan for next vid, I suppose, if there's not many gear upgrades to talk about between now and then, which I doubt there will be. I think this is probably our finished gear. If not, it'll be very close to this. I'll do a little gear review and I will focus on what I would have done next, if that makes sense. So I'll go over like the weak sockets. I'll go over the weak slots that are still in the build. So for example, like gloves, belt, and I'll just talk about what I would do with them. But yeah, for now, that is everything. I'll do a quick Discord chill. Plenty of guys in there playing Molten Strike at a Zenith. If you want some advice, drop a POB in there. I'll take a look at it. Other guys will take a look at it. They love doing it. Um, yeah, if you just want to chat, share some stuff about PoE, feel free to jump in there and just drop some messages. Right. You can find a link to it in the description. I will see you in the next and probably the last video for the series. So catch you then.